beautiful day, sun is shining, so let's enjoy this little bit of downtime on the mat. So you're just going to start off, as I said, in Shavasana, lying on your backs, taking a little bit of time out to take some nice steady breaths, slowing down the body, trying to slow down the mind. Just get into a nice comfortable position, hands well away from the body, turning the palms up towards the ceiling. Tucking the tailbone underneath, pressing the full length of the spine down to the mat. Softening through the jawline. Nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Check in with the body, the muscles, the joints. Just see how they're all feeling. Notice anything that feels any different, any tension, any niggles. Acknowledge them. Take a deep breath in, reaching the fingertips up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, just bring the arms behind you to the floor. Just tucking the tailbone underneath, checking in with the shoulders, softening through the elbows. Noticing how the chest is feeling, how the shoulders are feeling. Take a deep breath in, reaching those fingertips back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, cross the arms over the chest, tucking the fingertips underneath the shoulder blades if it's available to you. Taking a nice breath in, feeling that gentle restriction of the chest, forcing the air to go into the base, the back of the ribs. Inhale, bring the fingertips back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, cross the arms over the chest, the opposite way to the way that you had them before. Inhale, bringing those fingertips back up towards the ceiling, and as you exhale, bring the hands alongside you to the floor. Take a bend through the knees, tucking the tailbone underneath. And just take a little sway of the legs from side to side. We just loosen up the hips a little bit and the outside of the thighs, the glutes. Mostly the torso, so really working into the side waists. Keeping the feet still. Bringing them now hip distance apart, pressing them firmly down onto the floor, bringing the hands to the mat, just scooting the tailbone underneath and taking a deep breath in, pressing the toes down, pressing the soles of the feet down, opening up through the front of the body, coming into a gentle bridge pose, gently resting upon the tops of the shoulders, squeezing the bums, so activating the whole of the posterior chain. When you're ready, just slowly releasing that spine down towards the mat and bring the knees in towards the chest. Take a little rock from side to side. Holding on to the right knee, you're going to extend that left leg away from you. Toes are turning up towards the face, feeling the length through the whole of the left side. Nice breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. When you're ready, taking the hands behind the right thigh and extending that foot up towards the ceiling. Again, just checking in with how the back of that leg feels. So sometimes it will, might feel a little bit tighter than others. And if you've got a slight bend through the knee, because it just isn't comfortable to stretch it all the way out, that's absolutely fine. You've got to go where you feel that stretch. Take a bend through the left leg now. Right ankle comes onto the left knee. And just gently ease that right knee away from you. And when you're ready, reach behind the left thigh. We're going to open up that right hip and draw the left knee in towards us. So watch you're not holding on to any tension now through the shoulders. If you feel that you're straining up like this to get the leg, then just try and relax the shoulders down, place the foot back down, or use a strap or whatever you've got available to you to bring that leg in. Extend that right leg away, left knee comes in towards the chest, toes turn up towards the face. Taking those steady breaths in, always checking in, no tension through the jawline, through the neck, through the shoulders. So inhale, lengthen through the left leg, toes turning down towards the face. Again, check in with the shoulders. And remember, if you've got that little bend through the left knee, and that's your limit, then that's your limit. Don't force it. If it's shaking or anything, then just ease out of it slightly. The important thing when you're extending the legs, especially when they're up in the air, is that those lower abdominal muscles are really engaged, pelvic muscles too. So you're pressing that lower back into the mat. When you're ready, now taking a bend through that right leg, left ankle comes onto the right knee. Ease the left knee away from you. And then when you're ready, reaching through behind the right leg and drawing that left knee in towards you. Right knee in towards you. Opening up the left hip. Using whatever you need to make it comfortable for yourself. And always thinking about the engagement through those lower abdominal muscles. So the tailbone not lifting off the mat. When you're ready, just bringing the knees in towards you and just opening them up towards the shoulders. So right knee is driven towards the right shoulder, left knee driven towards the left. Coming into happy baby or whatever variation you feel you want to take. So either holding on to the calves, the ankles, outside of the feet or the toes, depending on how warm you are, and just drawing the knees in towards the armpits, keeping that tailbone fixed to the mat. You can take a little rock if you want, play around, or you can stay exactly still, doesn't matter, depends how playful you're feeling this morning. When you're ready, gently bringing the knees in towards the chest, crossing at the ankles and finding your way up and over into a tabletop position. So we're going to just spread the fingertips nice and wide, pressing through the knuckles as well as the heel of the hand. Okay, so don't put all the pressure through the heels. You don't want the knuckles resting up, just really pressing them down. Hands are directly underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Length is through that spine. Taking a deep breath in, flicking that tailbone up, extending or lengthening through the front of the body. And as you exhale, draw the belly button in, rounding through the shoulders, really kind of drawing up through the belly button, letting the spine, the muscles around the spine spread out. Inhale, bringing that tailbone up, lengthening through the front of the body. It's great for lumbar release, specifically if you've got lower back problems. Exhale, drawing the belly button up, allowing the head to drop, send the gaze towards the thighs. One more time. Inhale, flicking the tailbone up. Good. Exhale, drawing up through the spine, rounding through the shoulders, and now easing your body back into child's pose, so Balasana, reaching the hands forward, resting the forehead down on the mat. And just remembering here in this position that this is a restorative pose, so if at any point you ever need to take a break, then this is a really nice position to be in. If it's not comfortable, for whatever reason, You can always rest your head on a cushion. Just slowly coming forward, back into that tabletop position. You're going to tuck your toes and come up into downward facing dog. So hitching that tailbone up nice and high. Really, we're going to pedal through the heels just to warm up through the backs of the legs. Almost feel like you're ironing out any tension, any little tight spots in the backs of the legs. The aim for this particular asana, so the aim in downward facing dog, is not about getting the heels down towards the floor. Okay, that might be something that comes in time if they're not already there, but it's not the main purpose of the pose. The pose is an inversion. You're lifting that tailbone up nice and high. You're lengthening through the backs, the legs. You're drawing the chest towards the knees and the shins. You're relaxing through the head. You're grounding. You're rooting through the hands and whatever parts of the feet are in contact with the mat. So just coming to be still in that downward facing dog. Check in with the feet, you know, can you are the heels in line, you know, are they tucked behind the toes? So if they're a little bit kind of where you can see the heels inwards or outwards, you almost want to try and align them so you can't see the heels. So it might involve pressing down the big toe a little bit more. When you're ready, just slowly you're going to walk the hands, the feet towards the hands, toward the top of the mat, and hold here in a forward fold. So draw that belly button in. The aim is to try and straighten the legs as best you can, but don't worry if you've got a slight bend, that's fine. I want you to shift the weight through the toes, almost as if you're feeling as if you're going to tip forward. If I put the weight through the back, it sends my hips back, and then I'm a little bit out of alignment. So I just want to come forward, relax the head down. Hold on to the elbows if you're comfortable to do so. Take a little rock forward and back. Draw the belly button in, and then just come to be still. Inhale to gazing pose. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the hands all the way up. Hands through heart center. Take a moment here, coming into Tadasana. So check in that the feet are hip distance apart. Then you've got that fist distance, so hip distance is not so wide. Okay, it's sort of fist distance apart. Shoulders are up, back and down. And then you can take a deep breath in here, reaching the hands all the way up. Exhale, hinging over, lead with the chest, coming into a forward fold. Tucking the chin in. Inhale to gazing pose. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the hands all the way up. Really making the most of this full body stretch. Hands through heart center. One more time. Inhale. Exhale all the way over. Forward fold. Inhale to gazing pose. Exhale, bend the knees. You're going to place the hands either side of the feet and step, hop, jump, walk your way back to plank pose, Kumbhakasana, dropping the knees if you need to, lowering through Chaturanga. Inhaling into Cobra or Supported Cobra, which is on your elbows if you need to. So draw the shoulders back. Good job. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. So inhale, lift the right leg. Right foot comes between the hands at the front. You're going to drop that back knee, untuck the toe, and inhale up into that low lunge position. Good. So softening through the shoulders. One last breath in to lengthen. And exhale, frame that front foot, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Left foot comes between the hands at the front, drop that back knee, untuck the toes, inhale, sweep the hands up. Soften through the shoulders, length through the spine. Now you want to watch when you're warming up that you're not forcing it through into the hip flexor, okay? If you've got that range, then do it. but you know, resist the temptation to kind of really push forward. You almost need to really press and root and ground through that front leg, and just initially keep that nice alignment going. Take a deep breath in to lengthen. Exhale, frame that front foot, step back, downward facing dog. This time, inhale, lift the right leg, right foot comes between hands at the front. You're going to come up into a low lunge position. Good job. So inhale, lifting up, and then coming round into warrior two. So warrior two position. Your ankle, knee and hip should all be in alignment. I'm just going to turn around and mirror you. So just makes it a little bit easier for you to follow. So the right ankle, right knee, right hip, all in alignment. Left foot, left heel, right heel, both in the same position, left foot pressing away from you. Shoulders coming up, so try not to tense them up through to the ears, keep them soft. And then send the gaze over the front hand. So keep lunging through that front knee. Good. Taking a deep breath in here. You're going to turn that front hand up, lift and lengthen through that right arm, and just really kind of sweeping that left hand down the back of the leg. Coming into humble warrior, gazing up towards that top arm if it's comfortable. And then coming back through into warrior two, straightening up the front leg, reaching all the way forward as far as is comfortable for you, and then coming over into Trikonasana. So triangle pose, Trikonasana. I'm always reminding you not to go towards the floor, because that then closes off the hip. What you want is this hip here to be open, and sometimes that involves coming up a little bit higher to get the openness of that left hip. So really lengthening through, gazing up towards the top hand if it's comfortable for your neck. Taking a little bend through that front knee, you're going to come back through into humble warrior. So right arm windmills up, keep the lunge, don't lose that lunge through the front leg, and just gently sliding that hand down the back of the left leg, without forcing it, and then coming back round, we're coming into side angle bound. So right hand just coming onto the right knee, reaching that left arm over as far as is comfortable for you. So keeping that shoulder soft and sending the gaze up towards the ceiling, the emphasis being on really kind of trying to open this chest out towards the ceiling. If the shoulder gets sore, take the hand to the hip. When you're ready, just coming back through into warrior two. You're going to turn that right toe in towards, so you're coming into that wide stance position. Take a deep breath in, and exhale, leading the chest all the way over into a wide forward fold. Relaxing the head down, placing both hands in between the feet, toes turning slightly inwards, trying to keep the length through the legs, and keeping the weight forward into the toes. Relax the head down. Inhale to gazing pose. Exhale, bend the knees slightly, sweeping the hands all the way up, hands through heart center. Good, arms coming up. Now your left foot is going to turn out, coming into warrior two on the other side. So your heels are in alignment. I'm just moving so you can see me. So your heels are in alignment, lunging through that front leg. Soften through the shoulders. Good, and gaze is going over that front hand. So really nice steady breath. Lifting and lengthening through the head, reaching with the fingertips, rooting through the feet. When you're ready, take a deep breath in. Left arm sweeps up, coming into humble warrior. Don't lose the lunge through that front leg. Opening up that side, making sure that you're breathing. Gaze goes where you're comfortable, but ultimately the aim is up towards the hand, or the arm at least. When you're ready, just bringing that arm round now, straightening up your front leg. I'm going to go for Trikonasana on the other side. So reaching all the way forward, as far as you can go, and then when you can go no further, windmill the arm around. Okay, so Trikonasana on the other side. Remember, don't close this hip off by reaching for the floor. Keep it up and open. And gaze goes up towards the top hand if it's comfortable on your neck. If your shoulders aren't happy with this, hand to the waist. Really lovely hip openers. You're going to feel it on your inner thighs as well. When you're ready, take a little bend through that front knee, coming back into Humble Warrior, lengthening through that front side. When you're ready, taking a little, keep a bend through, left hand comes on top of the left knee, side angle bound, reaching that arm all the way forward as far as you can. So a lovely long stretch from the outside of your right foot to the fingertips of your right hand, and gaze coming up. Keep that lunge coming through, so keep reminding ourselves to keep lunging through that front leg and almost use this elbow to kind of pivot that chest around. When you're ready, coming back through into Warrior Two, keep the lunge there. And then turning the left toes in, back into that wide stance position. Just taking the hands to the hips, shoulders rolling back, chest leads. And remember, we're tipping the hips as if you're tipping the hips forward. So weight through the toes, coming all the way down as far as is comfortable for you. Drawing the belly button in, hands coming in between the feet, and relaxing the head down so the gaze is going behind you. When you're ready, inhale to gazing pose. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the hands all the way up. Hands through heart center. Turning now your right foot towards the front of the mat, take a bend through, and then windmilling the arms around. Stepping back into downward facing dog. So hitching that tailbone up nice and high. Long breath in here. Exhale, coming over into plank pose, Kumbhakasana. Hitching the weight forward, drawing the belly button in, dropping the knees if you need to, lowering through Chaturanga. Inhaling into Cobra or upward facing dog, depending on how warm you are. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Let's drop the knees down to the mat, ease the bum back onto the heels, and just pause for a beat. Close everything off. Let's maybe bring the hands behind you. Hold on to the feet, rest the shoulders. Taking some nice steady breaths in and out. When you're ready, just bringing the hands back in front. And you're going to find your way into a seated position, so it's up to you. You can just bring the feet around, or you can just practice that little pull through. Okay. So we're coming, firstly we're going to come into Dandasana. So with Dandasana, I always remind people, if you want to pop that little cushion sort of under the bum, that takes a little bit of pressure off the lower back. So it's up to you. If you've got it there, grab it. If you haven't and it involves getting up, then just roll the mat up for a moment. Okay, so the emphasis here is on keeping the length through to the crown, tailbone to the crown of the head, keeping those toes up towards the face and on your posture. If your back is hurting you, then that's obviously the only thing you're going to be thinking about. So, finding the sit bones, so a little rock from side to side, finding the sit bones, length through the legs, shoulders coming up, back, down, okay? And I want you to think about almost emphasising that kind of chest coming through, the belly button drawn in. Hands come alongside you to the mat, and keep that length through the spine. So you're just gently propping yourself, you're not leaning on the hands. So taking a deep breath in here, exhale, really draw that belly button in at the end of the breath. You're going to do 2 more breaths here. So on the inhale, lifting and lengthening. And on the exhale, just really thinking about drawing the toes towards the face, pressing the heels away from you. Watch those shoulders don't stay up by the ears. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Really draw that breath out nice and slowly. Toes turning up towards the face, belly button really nice and tight in towards the spine. Make sure the shoulders drop away from the ears. And relax and release. Okay, we're just going to take a more closed seated posture just to counterbalance the openness of the standing postures. So you're going to take your right leg and the right foot is going to be tucked onto the inside edge of the left leg. You're going to take the left elbow and just tuck it around, so hug it in towards you. And you want to think about drawing the body around as if you're trying to come forward, okay? So around and forward. So taking a deep breath in, you can use this left hand to prop up, right hand, sorry, to prop up. Length through the spine. Good. If you want to increase the intensity of this, you can actually just draw the elbow around, so use the elbow to guide you around. If you've got the flexibility in the range, you can look to kind of grab hold of the toes, the foot, maybe lift this arm up and wrap it around the back of the waist. She says. When you're ready, send the gaze forward, release from where you are. Extend that right leg, left leg draws in towards you. Ensure that your hips are back. So options, you're hugging it in towards you, right elbow comes around. Send the gaze behind you. Make sure you're not kind of leaning into this hand or that you're not bringing the shoulder up towards the ear, so keep it drawn around. So remember, it's almost like a twist and as if you're moving forward. Remember, you can modify, progress. You can take the elbow of the right hand and draw the body around a bit more. Or you can take the tricep to the back of that knee, the right tricep to the back of the left knee. And if you want to, bring that left arm around the back just to encourage the openness of the shoulder. Right toes still remain nice and active. Make sure that you're breathing as well. When you're ready, gaze comes forward, release from where you are. Bringing the knees in towards you, taking the hands underneath the shoulders. I think this is my new favourite posture at the moment. So hands are underneath the shoulders, pressing the feet down. We're going to come up into reverse tabletop. It's really lovely for opening up the shoulders, but it's also, it can feel quite difficult when you get to the top, so if you need to modify, then you can literally just draw the chest through, roll the shoulders back, and keep it here. Otherwise, press down with the feet, squeeze up with the bum, press with the big toes, make sure that you're breathing. Okay, don't drop the heads back. I'm not so keen on that in this particular posture. So really squeezing the bum through, keeping the spine in a nice alignment. And when you're ready, just slowly releasing the bum down towards the mat. And then you're going to hug onto the knees and come onto your backs. Good job. Take a little rock from side to side. then bringing the feet down towards the back. If you want to keep them bent for your final relaxation, then by all means you can. Alternatively, slide them away from you, palms turning up towards the ceiling. Get the shoulders away from the ears, soften through the jawline. Just taking some lovely, long, deep yogic breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. You may even prefer or choose to use the Ujjayi breath. So you're taking that nice long breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, partially closing off the back of the throat, sighing that breath out, but keeping the mouth gently closed. Let the tension ease away from the shoulders at the end of the breath. 2 more long, steady breaths. Just returning to a more normal breath pattern for you, more natural breath pattern. Just taking some movement through the fingers and the toes. Squeezing the hands and releasing them. Take a little bend through the knees, tuck the tailbone underneath, sway the legs from side to side. And then bringing the knees in towards the chest, another little rock from side to side. And then finding your way into a seated position. Take a deep breath in here. Hands through heart center. And namaste.